Hey guys, it's Simon and welcome back to the Quilly crawler video log. I finalized now the shopping system, so I added now the tomes that you can now learn skills when you buy them and use them, and also I added the stats tomes so that you can increase your strength, agility and intelligence. And also I made it happen now that those stat tomes that they get more expensive over time. So currently it adds 100 gold to all of these tomes. Not sure if that value stays at the end. For the time being, it's always just some testing values. And yeah, it was actually quite simple to add that because somehow everything was working quite well already. So most likely the design that we chose for that is not the worst. The only thing that I had to add was actually in the consumable component. So there I added now the information. So if you consume an item, so if it's a consumable, you can now also specify if it should also add an ability then to the player. And in the end, in the item entities file where I configure all the items, so there you can see an example for the firebolt tome. So there you see that one would add the firebolt command and it costs 100 gold, or for example healing adds the heal command and costs 200 gold. And for strength, agility and intelligence, that was already working, so they just increased the stats by 1 and they have a base cost of 100, which gets then more expensive over time. And yeah, how does that look like? So funnily enough, also those tomes can be used during combat. That is more like a side effect of the implementation that we did, but I think it's not that bad. So most likely you never need that because you will learn the ability before you start the combat. But if you have a tome which adds an ability and you use it during the combat, then your turn is gone because in this turn you learn the ability and then in the next turn you can use it. Let me see if I can show that to you. So first of all, let's open a couple of chests because we always start with an almost empty inventory. So now we should have a couple of things. Correct. Then yeah, let's make the combat first that you see that. So that's the simple one. So as you see, we don't have any abilities yet. And now let's quickly win that fight. Also what I added now is that the strength and the intelligence increase now. That victory sound is loud. That they increase now also the damage that you deal in combat. So I added there a description. So when we go to the buy menu and for example for agility, I mentioned that the higher agility allows you to act faster in combat. So meaning that your turn is starting before the enemies. For the strength tome, you can see that that one increases your damage, your physical damage dealt in combat by 1%, so for every strength point. And the intelligence tome increases the intelligence by 1% by 1, and the magical damage by 1%. So increasing those stats makes it then also more powerful in combat. And as an example, let's buy, for example, the strength tome and now look at the price. So initially it's 100 gold and the more you buy, the more expensive it becomes. So currently always plus 100 gold every time you buy it. And you see here, so it really increases now the stats of the player. And let's also, do I have enough money for something? Yeah, let's buy, for example, the firebolt. Okay, so those spell books, so for the firebolt, protect and so on, I also added some descriptions what they do, also some icons and what you would need to do now. So when you use this tome, then the firebolt ability gets added. But I want to show you that you can also do that during combat if that would be useful. So for example, here you see we cannot select any ability because we haven't learned anything, but our consumable items contain the firebolt tome. So if I use that one, my turn is now over because I'm learning the ability, and now in the next turn I now have the firebolt ability available. So I learned that now and can now use that, for example, on that skeleton, which somehow survives that. Okay, I thought they are one-shots. Okay. Yeah, and that's it. So from my point of view, the shopping system is now done. So also, just for you to show, the Firebolt tome, of course, is then gone when we consume it. And yeah, so that's it, what I did today actually only. And as mentioned, that was not that complicated. So I think it was 2 hours maybe that I had invest to add those tomes, and the most time consuming part was to find the graphics again. Some of the graphics I drew myself or modified a little bit myself. And yeah, with that, that's it about the shopping system. And now most likely I will work on the final touch of the game. So I want to add a loading screen. I want to make now real levels. Maybe also adjust the attributes and everything of the enemies and the player a little bit to make it more player friendly, let's say, and more interesting. And I also will add then a save system so that you don't lose your progress when you play the game. And most likely that will be the final touch for me for that project. I had in mind to also add a crafting system so that you can create new items out of other items. But at the moment I won't work on that. So for now I really want to give the game a final touch so that it really looks then like a game. That is for me now more important than a new system, because I worked now on this game quite some time. I think in total it was 22 or 23 weeks, which per week I spent usually between 4 and 8 hours. So let's say almost a month now I'm working on that game. And I want to bring it to a good looking state, let's say, before adding now new features to it. Okay, that's it, guys. Thanks for watching again. Have a nice Sunday and bye bye.